Good day, everyone. Good day to you, Ma'am April De La Gente, and our fellow panelists. We are here today to present to you a research proposal. But first, let me introduce myself and my fellow co-members. I am Tyla Amor Tinietes, and my fellow members are as follows: Miss Shire Joy Alcubilla, Mr. Winjay Bon Baliera, Miss Anjanette Estudillo, Miss Regine Gayurgor, and Miss April Joy Plaza. Our research proposal is entitled Work Stress and Coping Strategies Applied by Restaurant Owners and Employees in the Midst of COVID-19 Pandemic. The study is conducted by the researchers for the purpose of knowing the work stress and coping strategies of the restaurant owners and employees in the midst of pandemic in order to continue their business operations despite the current situation. For its objectives, generally, this study aims to determine the work stress and coping strategies applied by the restaurant owners and employees in the midst of pandemic for the year 2021. Specifically, this study will be conducted to describe the profile of the restaurant owners and employees according to their age, civil status, sex, and years of service. Describe the work stress experienced by the restaurant owners and employees in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. Describe the coping strategies applied by the restaurant owners and employees in terms of both physical and mental aspects. Determine the significant differences between the work stress experienced by the restaurant owners and employees when grouped according to their age, civil status, sex, and years of service. Determine the significant differences between the coping strategies applied by the restaurant owners and employees when categorized according to their age, civil status, sex, and years of service. Lastly, determine if there is a relationship between work stress and coping strategies applied by the restaurant owners and employees. For the hypothesis, there are no significant differences in the coping strategies applied by the restaurant owners and employees when grouped according to their age, civil status, sex, and years of service. For the next slide will be reported by Ms. Alcobilla.
For the theoretical framework, this study is anchored to the resilience theory. In business, resilience theory helped give rise to business continuity planning, which seeks to make companies more resistant to failure. The application of the theory also shows the ability of businesses and their people in terms of effective management when faced by crisis or risk for the continuity of their business goals. Companies are able to learn and apply resilient plans for them to avoid risks and manage different types of happenings that may occur. For the conceptual framework, this study will be composed of independent variables, which are the restaurant owners and employees, and they will be categorized according to age, sex, civil status, and years of service. And dependent variables, which are the work stress and coping strategies in terms of physical and mental aspects.
Significance of the study. This study will prove useful to the following entities. First, the business owners. This will help them come up with various strategies that will improve the business during a crisis. Second, the employees. This study could help them come up with different approaches on addressing the customer's needs. Third, the consumers will be the basis of the changes of the service to preserve their satisfaction. Lastly, the future researchers, they could interconnect related topics or expand the scope of the study. Scope and limitations. The study focuses on the work stress experience and coping strategies applied by restaurant owners and employees in terms of physical and mental aspects to continue their responsibilities and business operation despite effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The data collection will be conducted to restaurant owners and employees in the city and province of Iloilo who will represent the population. A survey questionnaire that will undergo validation will be utilized to gather the information from selected respondents, which will be sent either in a Google form format or a printed one.
Next, research design. To satisfy the objectives of the study, the researchers are conducting a quantitative research that will utilize the descriptive correlational research design. The descriptive correlational design studies the variable as well as the natural correlation that exists between and among them. The researchers will collect primary data from main sources through questionnaires. Next, respondents of the study. The respondents of the study will be the restaurant owners and employees with the minimum number of 50 who were affected by the current pandemic from both city and province of Iloilo.
For data gathering instrument, the study will utilize a survey questionnaire with items adapted from published resources that tackle stress and coping. It will be divided into 3 parts. First, it contains the owner's and employee's profile, which include the important variables of the study: age, civil status, sex, and years of service. For part 2, it contains questions with regards to the work stress experienced by restaurant owners and employees. And for the last part, it contains the questions regarding the coping strategies restaurant owners and employees have applied and used in response to stress. As for the content validity, the researchers will present the instrument to the research advisor in order to receive feedback and suggestions. The researchers will then be sending a letter to 3 experts to check the instrument's content validity. For the reliability, the study will utilize a Cronbach's alpha test, which is a measure used to assess reliability or internal consistency or a set of scale or test items. The general rule of thumb is that the Cronbach's alpha of 0.70 and above is good, 0.80 and above is better, and 0.90 and above is the best.
Next is data gathering procedure. The researcher will develop research questionnaire that will go through validation, reliability tests, and pilot testing that will consulted by experts in the field to ensure a reliable gathering of data. The next step is sending emails to restaurant owners and employees to ask their permission to be the respondent of the study. Researcher also may visit certain restaurants and send out letters to ask the permission to be the respondent of the study. And lastly, researcher will then distribute and administer the questionnaire in order to gather relevant data for the analysis. Statistical data analysis. The data gathered for this study will be subjected to statistical treatment using the following statistical tools: frequency distribution, percentage, mean, standard deviation, Crustal-Wallis test,